Australia has shut the door to New Zealanders for quarantine-free travel for at least 72 hours, despite no change in our alert levels. Airlines responded by cancelling flights, and it's throwing question marks around a future trans-Tasman bubble. Louise Ternouth is at Auckland Airport and joins me now. Louise, what effect has this decision had, and is anyone still trying to get to Australia?
Well, Lisa, it's looking pretty quiet here. The airport is very empty and almost all flights to Australia have been cancelled, bar one through Qatar Airlines. But again, that end destination is Doha, so everyone that I've spoken to here doesn't have an end destination in Australia, making it clear that anyone that can wait is doing so. When the news came through yesterday evening, David Robert Pickard was due to fly through to Brisbane.
Just as I was about to head through the customs gate, one of the airport staff pulled me aside and was like, I don't recommend going through right now. We've just had a verbal confirmation that the borders are closed to New Zealand for 3 days and that we're waiting for a written confirmation. So I was like, okay. So I sat around on my bag for a minute. Then they started collecting our boarding passes, and within about 20 minutes, they were stacking our bags up along a wall. Other passengers weren't too happy. Like, obviously, some of them had handed over keys from units and were moving or were in transit. You know, there were kids there as well, so a lot of them didn't really know what to do, where to go. So we're kind of getting a bit angry or frustrated, I should say, at some of the airport staff about what they should do, where they should go. And within about 30 minutes, they were pretty good. The airport staff started booking people flights back to where they had came from.
He's going to wait the full 72 hours before he makes his next move. Now, airlines haven't given any further indication on what the situation will be. They've just stated that it will be the 72 hours, so we know that we'll at least be here until late Thursday night, waiting for a further update, and we still don't know whether things will be extended.
OK, well, a lot of people have been holding out hope for a quarantine-free trans-Tasman bubble. So what does all of that mean for the prospects of a bubble?
Yeah, so the Prime Minister has acknowledged that this does complicate things for a trans-Tasman bubble. Speaking after Cabinet today, Ms Ardern acknowledged that Australia letting up the drawbridge before we've even moved alert levels will make it super complicated for people to plan further travel.
I certainly expressed disappointment that that decision had been made. I conveyed the confidence that we have in our systems, but also just acknowledged that if we are to enter into a trans-Tasman bubble, we will need to be able to give people confidence that we won't see closures at the borders that happen with very short notice over incidents that we believe can be well managed domestically. You know, we're seeing the impacts of that decision on travellers. We need to have some confidence if we're in a trans-Tasman travel arrangement that we won't see decisions that necessarily impact people when it may not be necessary.
Late last year, Ms Ardern announced that plans for the trans-Tasman bubble would be ready by around March. That gives the two governments just over a month to decide how and if this can work.
Thanks, Lou. That's Louise Ternouth, who's out at Auckland Airport. And if you were listening to that rather than watching, it seemed like she was all by herself.